Okay, there we go. There we go again. Okay, the golden sayings of Epictetus, 110. When a friend inclined to cynic views asked Epictetus what sort of person a true cynic should be, requesting a general sketch of the system, he answered, "We will consider that at leisure. At present, I content myself with saying this much. If a man put his hand to so weighty a matter without God, the wrath of God abides upon him. That which he covets will but bring upon him public shame. Not even on finding himself in a well-ordered house does a man step forward and say to himself, I must be master here. Else the lord of the house takes notice of it, and seeing him insolently giving orders, drags him forth and chastises him. So it is also in this great city, the world. Here also is there a lord of the house, who orders all things. Thou art the sun. In thine orbit thou hast power to make the year and the seasons, to bid the fruits of the earth grow and increase. The winds rise and fall. Thou canst in due measure cherish with thy warmth and frames of men. Go make the circuit and thus minister unto all men, all from the greatest to the least. Thou canst lead a host against Troy, be Agamemnon. Thou canst meet Hector in single combat, be Achilles. But had Thersites stepped forward and claimed the chief command, he had been met with refusal, or obtained it only to his own shame and confusion to face before a cloud of witnesses. 111. Others may fence themselves with walls and houses. When they do such deeds as these and wrap themselves in darkness, they have many a device to hide themselves. Another may shut his door and station one before his chamber to say, if any comes, he had gone forth, he is not at leisure. But the true cynic will have none of these things. Instead of them, he must wrap himself in modesty, else he will but bring himself to shame, naked and under the open sky. That is his house, that is his door, that is the slave that guards his chamber. That is his darkness. 112. Death, let it come when it will, whether it smite but a part or the whole. Fly, you tell me, fly, but whither shall I fly? Can any man cast me beyond the limits of the world? It may not be, and whithersoever I go, there shall I still find sun, moon, and stars. There shall I find dreams and omens and converse with the gods. 113. Furthermore, the true cynic must know that he is sent as a messenger from God to men, to show unto them that as touching good and evil, they are in error, looking for these where they are not to be found, nor ever bethinking themselves where they are, and like Diogenes, when brought before Philip after the battle of Chaeronea, the cynic must remember that he is a spy, for a spy he really is, to bring back word what things are on man's side and what against him. And when he has diligently observed all, he must come back with a true report, not terrified into announcing them to be foes that are no foes, nor otherwise perturbed or confounded by the things of sense. 114. How can it be that one who hath nothing, neither raiment nor house, nor home nor bodily attendance, nor servant nor city, should yet live tranquil and contented? Behold, God hath sent you a man to show you in act and deed that it may be so. Behold me. I have neither city, nor house, nor possessions, nor servants. The ground is my couch. I have no wife, no children, no shelter, nothing but earth and sky, and one poor cloak. And what lack I yet? Am I not earth? Am I not untouched by sorrow, by fear? Am I not free? When have I laid anything to the charge of God or man? When have I accused any? Hath any of you seen me with sorrowful countenance? And in what wise treat I those of whom you stand in fear and awe? Is it not as slaves? Who, when he seeth me, doth not think that he beholdeth his master and his king? 115. God thyself, give thyself more diligently to reflection. Know thyself. Take counsel with the Godhead. Without God, put thine hand into nothing. 116. But to marry and to rear offspring, and the young man will the cynic hold himself bound to undertake this as chief duty? Grant me a republic of wise men, answered Epictetus, and perhaps none will lightly take the cynic life upon him. For on whose account should he embrace the method of life? Suppose, however, that he does, there will then be nothing to hinder his marrying and rearing offspring, for his wife will be even such another as himself, and likewise her father. And in like manner will his children be brought up. But in the present condition of things, which resembles an army in battle array, ought not the cynic to be free from all distraction and given wholly to the service of God, so that he can go in and out among men, neither feared, neither fettered by the duties, nor entangled by the relations of common life? For if he transgress them, he will forfeit the character of a good man and true, whereas if he observe them, there is an end of him as a messenger, the spy and the herald of the gods. 117. Ask me, if you choose, if a cynic shall engage in the administration of the state. O fool, seek you a nobler administration than that in which he is engaged? Ask you, if a man should come forward in the Athenian assembly and talk about revenue and supplies, when his business is to converse with all men, Athenians, Corinthians, and Romans alike, not about supplies, not about revenue, nor yet peace and war, but about happiness and misery, prosperity and adversity, slavery and freedom? Ask you whether a man shall engage in the administration of the state who has engaged in such an administration as this. Ask me too if he shall govern, and again I will answer, Fool, what greater government shall he hold than that he holds already? 118. But a man needs also to have a certain habit of body. If he appear consumptive, then thin and pale, his testimony has no longer the same authority. He must not only prove to be unlearned by showing them what his soul is, that is possible to be good men apart from all that they admire, but he must also show them by his body that a plain and simple manner of life under the open sky does no harm to the body either. See, I am proof of this, and my body also, as Diogenes used to do, also went about fresh and look, and by the very appearance of his body drew men's eyes. But if a cynic is an object of pity, he seems a mere beggar. All turn away, all are offended at him. Nor should he be slovenly of look, so as not to scare men from him in this way either. On the contrary, his very roughness should be clean and attractive. 119. Kings and tyrants have armed guards wherewith to chastise certain persons, though they be themselves evil. But to the cynic, conscience gives this power, not arms and guards, when he knows that he has watched and labored on behalf of mankind, that sleep hath found him pure and left him purer still, that his thoughts have been of the thought of a friend of the gods, of a servant, yet of one that hath a part in the government of the supreme God, that the words are ever on his lips, Lead me, O God, and then, O destiny, as well as these. If this be God's will, so let it be. Why should he not speak boldly unto his own brethren, unto his children, in a word, unto all that are akin to him? 120. Does a philosopher apply to people to come and hear him? Does he not rather of his own nature attract those that will be benefited by him, like the sun that warms the fawn, that food that sustains them? What physician applies to men to come and be healed? Though indeed I hear that the physicians at Rondu nowadays apply for patients. In my time they were applied to. I apply to you to come and hear that you are in evil case, that what deserves your attention most is the last thing to gain it, that you know not good from evil, and are in short a hapless wretch, a fine way to apply. Though unless the words of the philosopher affect you thus, speaker and speech are alike dead. Okay, I will stop here. I'll begin the next reading at 120. Okay, thank you.